Do you ever just feel completely scattered? You know, the phone buzzing, the feed scrolling, that sense you have to be constantly switched on.
Oh, definitely.
It's like our attention is just pulled everywhere at once. If you feel like you're just skimming the surface of things, well,
Yeah.
you're really not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into these digital distractions.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not just here to complain about it, right? We want to understand where it comes from and give you some real practical strategies, things based on evidence that help you get your focus back, maybe be more productive, and just, feel better overall.
Absolutely. And we've pulled together quite a bit for this. We're looking at recent articles, some really fresh research from 2025, systematic reviews. There's even a great TEDx talk in the mix.
Nope.
The idea is to give you a really solid picture of what's going on inside our heads and, importantly, what we can actually do about it.
Okay, so let's unpack this. This idea of an invisible pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty serious.
Mm.
Why is it so, hidden in plain sight?
Well, it's because these things, smartphones, social media, all the pings, they've just become so woven into the fabric of our lives, haven't they?
Yeah, completely.
They're everywhere, and they chip away at our attention, bit by bit, often without us really noticing the full cost. The numbers are, frankly, pretty stark.
Okay.
As of 2025, the average person is spending over 5 hours a day on screens, and that's outside of work hours.
Wow, 5 hours.
Hmm.
That's a huge chunk of the day.
It really is, and it feels like we're always switching, doesn't it? Even when we try to focus on one thing.
Exactly. Like my brain has too many tabs open.
That's a great way to put it. And what's really interesting here is how this leads to concepts like digital overload or continuous partial attention.
Right.
Some research indicates the average person shifts their attention on screen roughly every 47 seconds.
47 seconds. Seriously.
Think about that. It's like constant mental whiplash. And the effect on our ability to concentrate. Well, it's clear. The average human attention span dropped from 12 seconds back in 2000 to less than 8 seconds by 2013.
8 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Less than a goldfish. Okay, so next time I forget why I walked into a room, it's the phone's fault, not just me.
Well, maybe not entirely the phone's fault, but it's definitely a contributing factor.
What's really fascinating and maybe a bit scary is that it feels like this isn't just happening. It feels engineered almost. What's going on in our brains? Why are we so easily hooked?
You've absolutely hit the nail on the head there. It's not just habit. It's our own brain chemistry being deliberately targeted. It's our primal reward system, the one that evolved to help us find food and safety. It's basically being hacked by algorithms. They're designed for engagement, for keeping you scrolling, not really for your well-being. It's this thing called the dopamine loop.
Ah, dopamine. Heard of that.
Right. So every little ping, every share you get, it triggers a tiny release of dopamine. Just a little squirt.
That feel-good chemical.
Exactly. And that little hit feels good just for a moment, which powerfully reinforces the urge to check your device again and again. Developers have essentially learned how to code our reward pathways. It turns our phones into these incredibly effective digital slot machines.
That makes so much sense. That little bit of validation keeps you coming back for more.
And that connects directly to something else many of us feel, that fear of missing out. Or FOMO.
Yeah, FOMO is real.
It really is. And it's not just trivial. It taps into our fundamental human need to belong, to be part of the group. That deep-seated fear drives that compulsive checking, leading to what some experts call a truly pathological relationship with our devices.
Pathological, wow.
Yeah. And some even label the smartphone a super addiction. Think about it.
Yeah.
It bundles so many potentially addictive things: games, social media, shopping, news, even porn into one sleek package.
All in your pocket.
Exactly. Free, legal, instant gratification. And the speed it took over is just unprecedented. The iPhone only came out in 2007, right? By 2022, 95% of American teens had one, using them up to 9 hours a day. And because everyone's doing it, it feels normal, socially acceptable, which makes it even harder to see as a potential problem.
So if it's that powerful, that widespread, and feels addictive, why isn't it treated like other addictions, like officially? Does that speed you mentioned make it hard for, say, mental health systems to even classify it?
That's a huge challenge. You're spot on. It happens so fast, the mental health world is still trying to figure out how to respond. The official diagnostic manuals, like the DSM-5 or the ICD-10-11, these are the rule books doctors use globally.
Right.
They haven't formally recognized phone addiction yet, which makes it incredibly difficult to diagnose consistently, track its prevalence, and ultimately to develop standardized treatments. It leaves a lot of people struggling without clear labels or pathways for help.
That's a major gap. So, okay, it's not just about feeling a bit distracted then.
Uh,
What are the knock-on effects? What does this constant digital buzz actually do to us, to you listening right now?
the ripple effect is pretty profound. It touches almost every part of our lives. Cognitively, for instance, there's something called attention residue.
Attention residue, what's that?
It means that when you switch tasks quickly, especially digital ones, part of your brain's focus actually stays stuck on the last thing you were doing.
Ah,
So you can't give your full attention to the new task. This constant switching isn't free. It comes at a cost. Multitasking, or rather task switching, can slash productivity by up to 40%. Each switch can waste, on average, about 23 minutes before you regain deep concentration.
23 minutes, just from checking one email.
Potentially, yes, to get back into that deep flow state. And there are even longer-term worries emerging about things like digital dementia or ADHD-like symptoms linked to excessive screen time.
Wow. And mentally,
Yeah,
beyond focus.
mentally, the links are strong. Prolonged digital exposure is tied to higher levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. Some 2025 studies show adolescents with heavy daily screen use have more than double the risk of an anxiety or depression diagnosis compared to lower users.
Double the risk.
Yeah, and think about social media. That constant comparison engine can really fuel feelings of inadequacy, low self-esteem. And then there's doom scrolling, just getting sucked into negative news cycles.
Been there. It's awful.
Physically, too, there are real impacts. That blue light from screens late at night, it messes with your melatonin production, disrupting sleep. Poor sleep then links to a whole cascade of other issues.
Right, like heart disease, diabetes.
Exactly. Plus, you've got digital eye strain, blurred vision, headaches, and even musculoskeletal problems like text neck from always looking down.
Text, Nick. I think I have that.
A lot of us probably do. And socially, it's chipping away at our connections. You know, phubbing, snubbing someone in person for your phone.
Oh, hate that.
We all do. It damages relationships, lowers satisfaction, and can even affect the sleep quality of the person being ignored. When our attention is divided during conversations, they become shallower. Over time, it can actually erode our capacity for empathy.
Okay, that is a lot.
Yeah.
It definitely paints a challenging picture. It almost feels like we're wired to lose this battle. Is it really possible to get control back when these things are designed so cleverly to hook us?
It is possible, absolutely. But it takes being intentional about it. It's not just going to happen on its own. And that's where the research points towards two key ideas: digital detox and digital mindfulness.
Detox and mindfulness. Okay, what's the difference?
So a digital detox is usually a deliberate set period of time where you completely abstain from certain devices or platforms. Think of it like hitting a reset button.
A hard reset.
Exactly. It can be tough. People sometimes experience withdrawal, like feeling irritable or anxious, but it can be really powerful for recalibrating your brain. Digital mindfulness, though, is maybe more of a long-term sustainable approach. It's about using technology purposefully, intentionally, making sure you're in charge, not the device.
Right. So mindfulness is the ongoing practice. Detox is the occasional reset. If someone listening wants to move towards that mindful use, where's the best place to start? What's like step one?
Probably the most impactful first step is to set boundaries with time limits. Your phone likely has built-in tools, screen time on iPhones, digital well-being on Android.
I've seen those.
Use them. Set daily limits for specific apps that you know suck your time, or even an overall cap. And you don't have to go extreme. Start small. Maybe just aim for 30 minutes of no screens before bed. That alone can make a huge difference to your sleep.
Okay, 30 minutes before bed. That feels doable. What about our physical environment? Does that play a role?
Huge role. You need to create tech-free zones and routines, designate certain spaces. The bedroom is a big one, the dinner table another, as completely device-free zones.
No phones at dinner. That could change conversations.
It really can. Make it a rule. Also, maybe do a weekly check-in on your app usage. Just seeing the actual numbers, how much time you spent where, can be a real eye-opener and motivate change.
Okay, so structure the time, structure the space. But what about that automatic urge? You know, you're bored for 2 seconds and your hand just reaches for the phone. How do we fight that?
That's about actively embracing replacement activities. You need to have something else ready to fill that space. Instead of scrolling, pick up a physical book. Go for a quick walk. Do a few stretches. Reconnect with hobbies.
Find something else to do, basically.
Exactly. And spending time in nature is incredibly powerful for restoring focus and cutting stress. Even simple mindfulness practices, like a few minutes of meditation, can strengthen your ability to resist those digital pulls.
So it's not just stopping the scroll, it's starting something else.
Mhm.
What about getting help from others or using tech against tech?
Definitely. Leverage social support and tools. Tell a friend or partner about your goals. Doing it together or just having someone check in makes a big difference. Research backs that up.
Accountability partners.
Precisely. And yes, there are tools. Beyond the built-in ones, there are clever apps. Think about automated services that help you delete old social media accounts easily, promoting a kind of digital minimalism.
Interesting. And what if someone feels they need a bigger shift, like that hard reset you mentioned?
Yeah, for a more significant break, you can consider gradual detox approaches. There's a growing trend, actually, for digital detox retreats or vacations focused entirely on being offline.
Like a tech-free holiday.
Exactly, but you don't have to jump straight to that. Start smaller, try a tech-free Saturday morning, or maybe a full day on the weekend. See how it feels, notice the benefits, maybe clearer thinking, less anxiety, and then you can scale up if you want to.
So it's really about building a toolkit, isn't it? Designing your environment and your habits. You called it a digital hygiene kit earlier.
That's a great way to think about it. So in your kit, you've got the built-in features, screen time, digital well-being. Then you have focus apps, maybe gamified ones like Forest, where not touching your phone grows a virtual tree,
Oh, like that.
or Flipped, which can actually lock you out of distracting apps. For bigger guns, there are cross-device blockers like Freedom or Self-Control that work on your computer and phone. Some people even opt for minimalist devices like the light phone, just calls and texts, no browser, no apps.
Back to basics.
Pretty much. And here's a super simple but surprisingly effective tip. Switch your phone display to grayscale.
Grayscale, black and white.
Yep. It makes all those colorful, enticing app icons look really dull and much less appealing. Takes away some of that dopamine trigger. The key really is combining strategies. There's no single magic bullet. It's about layering these things to create a system that works for you.
Right, building your own personal defense system. Now, for a lot of people, these strategies might be enough. But sometimes it feels like it goes deeper than just bad habits. How do you know if it's crossed a line into a more serious problem, something needing professional help? What are those red flags?
That's a really important question, and there are some key warning signs to look out for, either in yourself or someone you care about. Things like being totally preoccupied with being online, constantly losing track of time when you're using devices,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe lying about how much time you're spending online or what you're doing, feeling really strong urges to use devices more and more, or getting, restless, irritable, or anxious if you can't use them.
That sounds like withdrawal.
It can function very similarly. Another big sign is using technology specifically to avoid problems or numb difficult feelings like helplessness or sadness. And critically, if device use starts seriously harming important relationships, your job, or your education, that's a major red flag.
Yeah.
We're even seeing, though it's rare, some concerning cases of what's being called AI psychosis, where intense interaction with chatbots, especially for vulnerable people, can actually blur reality and reinforce delusional thinking. It just highlights how profoundly technology can impact mental state.
That's genuinely disturbing.
Right.
So if someone recognizes those signs in themselves, what kind of professional help is available?
Thankfully, there are effective approaches. Evidence-based therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, are often used. CBT helps you identify and change the thought patterns and beliefs that fuel the problematic use. There's also dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, which adds skills for mindfulness, managing emotions, and tolerating distress. Motivational interviewing, or MI, focuses on helping you find your own internal motivation to change. And very often, family therapy is key, because this rarely affects just one person.
Right, it impacts the whole system.
Exactly. And for more severe situations, there are immersive residential programs, places like Elevation's RTC or Restart. These provide a structured, completely trigger-free environment. The goal is to literally help people unplug and let their brain's reward pathways reset, finding healthier sources of satisfaction.
It sounds like a serious commitment, but potentially life-changing for those who need it. And for everyone, even those making smaller changes, there's a real payoff, right?
Yeah.
When people do manage to reclaim some of this focus, what happens? What do they actually experience?
The transformations can be pretty amazing, actually. We see it in personal stories and in research. Mentally and emotionally, people report feeling less stressed, less anxious, less depressed. They feel more balanced, better able to regulate their moods.
Sounds good already.
Definitely. Cognitively, their attention span improves. They feel more efficient. That attention residue decreases. Thinking feels clearer. Physically, sleep almost always gets better. eye strain reduces. People often find they have more energy and time for physical activity.
And socially, less phubbing.
Less phubbing, for sure, but also deeper connections in the real world, better conversations with family and friends, a renewed ability to be truly present with others, which boosts empathy, and longer term. People often talk about finding a greater sense of purpose, a fulfillment, what psychologists call eudaimonic well-being.
Eudaimonic, like deeper happiness.
Exactly. Not just fleeting pleasure, but that richer sense of living a meaningful life aligned with your values and feeling more capable, more self-efficacious in managing your own technology use.
That's incredibly motivating, and you mentioned data backing this up.
Yeah, there's solid research. A German study found just reducing smartphone use by 1 hour a day for a single week led to measurable drops in depression and anxiety, plus more physical activity.
Just 1 hour a day for a week.
And another study from 2023 showed people who limited social media to 30 minutes daily didn't just benefit during the experiment. Weeks later, they still had lower overall phone use and better sleep. The positive effects can stick.
So these changes, even small ones, can have lasting impact.
They really can.
Okay, so as we wrap this up, the message isn't really throw away your smartphone, is it? It's more about shifting the relationship.
Precisely. It's not about abandoning technology altogether that's unrealistic for most of us. It's about learning to master it, turning it from something that controls us into a tool that genuinely serves our goals, our values, our well-being.
Making it work for us, not the other way around.
And it's important to remember, this isn't just on us as individuals, right? Tech companies have a role to play, and many are starting to introduce features aimed at reducing addictive potential. Society as a whole needs to keep having this conversation, fostering a healthier digital culture. You see discussions popping up everywhere now, like on X and other platforms. There's a kind of collective awakening happening.
A collective pushback, maybe.
Yeah, a sense that we need to find a better balance.
Absolutely. So here's a final thought to leave you with. Just imagine. Imagine the creativity, the focus, the real connection you could unlock if you deliberately carved out even a little bit of truly disconnected time each day. Ask yourself, what really matters most to you, and how could your relationship with technology better serve that?
Powerful question.
Maybe start small today. Try just one thing we talked about, grayscale. No phone at dinner, 30-minute screen-free before bed. The clarity you gain just might surprise you, and it could really change things for the better starting tomorrow.